Hi, my name is Bianca Rose Colavecchia, and I would like to share my presentation, Conversation with Sherry Lynn Lukovic, a career in marketing communications. So on Tuesday, March 31st of 2021, I had the opportunity to sit down and speak with Ms. Lukovic, who is the marketing communications manager at PerMobile. PerMobile is a company that specializes in creating custom wheelchairs that are beneficial and solely support that individual's needs for the rest of their lives. I chose Miss Lukovic to interview because I'm really interested in a career in marketing, and I also really enjoy English. I took English at Nipissing University for 2 years and thoroughly enjoyed it, and communications is the closest thing in business to an English degree or English field. And she fit all of the boxes for an application, plus the fact that she's also a woman in a business field. I thought that was really amazing. So a little bit of history and background on Miss Lukovic. So during the interview, I asked her if she could share what qualifications and skills that she needed and what her career path looked like that brought her to her position. And she replied with a lot of schooling. So she was at Sheridan College for a journalism program, and she did that for 2 years. And then she also took a post-diploma degree for corporate communication, and she absolutely loved it. She and I shared some wonderful stories and jokes that she did to her classmates, and she really enjoyed. It seemed like she really enjoyed her time at school. And then she worked for Pure Later Incorporated for I think about 4 or 5 years. And then she worked for a brief time at Hamilton Health Science Corporation before she ended up becoming a full-time mom from 2000 to 2015. And so at about 2016, she was putting out her resumes, and a quote from her is, "Trying to get back into the workforce was painful. I sent out over 100 resumes and only got 15 interviews. I was competing for entry-level jobs, starting my career at ground level. Getting my foot in the door at 40 years old was not easy." And she expressed how she was in a lot of competition with students my age who had just finished their degrees or their diplomas and were entering the workforce. And it was really hard for her to prove to people in her field that, yeah, she took a little bit of time off, but she kept her brain sharp during that time. She did freelance work, and she was still as good as candidate as all the other young applicants who were competing with her. So I had then asked her that she's, with that big title, that beautiful title, she must have a lot of responsibilities. So I asked her if she could share what a normal day looked like for her. And we got into discussing a lot about Zoom fatigue and how at the beginning of the pandemic, her company went completely online. They had a really smooth transition, she told me. So I thought that was really amazing. Um, but at the beginning of the pandemic, everyone went online, everyone had their cameras on, and everyone was excited and happy and wanted to build that, atmosphere. And then slowly she noticed that cameras started turning off, and now there's only like one or two people in the calls that have them. And so she told me that she started a movement where she's bringing back the cameras on so that you can feel that sense of camaraderie and work environment again. She said that she works in an 8-person team, and they meet roughly 2 to 3 times a day to discuss, their projects, what editing needs to be done, who needs to catch up on their work, what's next, what's the future going to look like. She also discussed how they have a Microsoft Teams calendar that they use, and she was able to show me the program and show me the dates, and underneath it you can say, oh, Bob did this and he looked at this report but he hasn't responded yet, or Sally looked at this report and commented that Sherry Lynn needed to look and edit this before you moved on. And you could see what everyone was doing and what was coming next, and it was a beautiful program. I was very interested in it. She also explained to me how she is part of the downstream product meetings. So after the products have gone through testing and approval and stuff like that, they come to the company floor basically where everyone sits down and they go, okay, so now we have to figure out how to market this and how to get it out to the public. And she sits there with doctors and engineers and mechanics and everybody. And she sits there as an editor basically. And she said that she brings in an everyday Joe's sort of perspective to those meetings where they're speaking in these huge terms. She's able to go, wait, I need to know what that means in layman's terms so that our customers understand what that's like. She mentioned also that her role at the company spans from a writer, editor, researcher, designer, social media coordinator, and so many more things. Like she's got her hand in like designing and planning for corporate events. And she said that she planned one right before the pandemic happened, and it was so much fun. But as her from her background and what she does as her job, she got the nickname in university or in her schooling called Eagle-Eyed Sherry, because as an editor she was able to spot a mistake so quickly, and she got that nickname as a result, and it follows her through each work experience. So then I'm asked near the end of the interview, I asked her, what advice do you have for students in their for their networking and for their future and building on their futures? And she said, like, don't abuse LinkedIn. And she said that she had an intern who came into her company and they emailed her saying, hey, I'd like to apply for the internship. And a day later, he added her on LinkedIn and started sending her 100 messages. And she said that was a great way just to get blocked. She said, LinkedIn, use it very professionally, use it very sparingly, because it's a reflection of who you are, and only add people that you know personally so that you're not jeopardizing your own reputation. She said that another advice that she can give to students as an editor is to read your work out loud. She said that a lot of the times she'll be going through an assignment or she'll be going through just a piece of work or literature for her job, and she'll say, oh, there's a mistake there, and she'll read it out loud to tell herself, oh, that doesn't quite sound right, let's see what it is. She also explained to me, I asked her another question saying, like, if you were the employer at ProMobile, what would you want to see from future applicants? And she said, like, everyone right now is looking for very strong communicators, people who have lots and lots of passion, and people who are 100% willing to learn. And those are the applicants that are going to get hired above anybody else. I also asked her if she had any reading material that she could suggest for students. And she said How to Win Friends and Influence People by Dale Carnegie is the #1 book that she could recommend to anybody. It talks about, if you're in a boardroom, what to look for and who's the alpha, and how to interact with people and make people think that you're great and all this other stuff. And that's all really important stuff in your personal life and also in the workplace. She also said the birth order book, which I thought was super interesting. This book discusses what if say you're the eldest boy in the family, what characteristics, because of how your parents raised you as the eldest boy, looked like, and the middle child and the youngest child. And she says that it carries through, and it's almost 100% spot on, and it's very, very truth to be told, and it helps her a lot apparently in her workforce when she's meeting new people and meeting clients and trying to understand a little bit more about them. She'll ask, oh, are you a youngest? Like, what do you have any siblings? How old what are your siblings' ages and stuff like that? And she's able to understand a little bit more about them as a person, and that helps her connect on a deeper level to them. And so in conclusion, Sherry Lynn, or Miss Lukovic, she told me that she had a great time with the interview, and she said that if she was ever looking for an internship, she would definitely toss my hat in the ring, which I'm so blessed for, because I would love to have a chance to work alongside her. She seemed amazing and completely funny. I'm sure you've noticed the pictures on my slides here, and these were photos that she sent me after our meeting, and she explained to me that for camaraderie and as jokes, she'll send grammar specific memes to her coworkers to get them remembering that they always need to be proofreading. And these were the ones that she sent me, and absolutely had me laughing and in stitches. And thank you so very much for listening to my presentation.